Well, what are we up to today, folks? It can't always be fun and games and working on clean, old hobby cars and stuff. Sometimes we got to take care of the cars that give us our daily bread and get us back and forth to work so we can pay for all these hobbies that we have. 2001 Chevy Malibu has almost 300,000 kilometers on it, and on really cold mornings I was noticing and hearing a real awful squeaking sound coming from the car, a high-pitched whine, and seemed to have traced it down to a really wobbly and failing idler bearing on the tensioner assembly for the serpentine belt. Well, rather than just getting a new wheel for it, considering the kilometers on the car, I decided I was going to change the whole thing because the tension springs inside can sometimes take a set and they can jam. That can cause you all sorts of problems with the belt, ending up just being too tight. For example, it can really damage the water pump, it can damage the air conditioner compressor, and as well too. So just a little bit of preventive maintenance, decided to change the whole thing on it, and they're pretty cheap too, these things. And while I was at it, there's another idler wheel that goes on in it, and it was sounding kind of chewed up as well too. So we're going to put that on, and we'll see what will happen, and I'm sure the car will be perfectly fine after that. And then we'll do a cold start later on. In the meantime, it's daytime. Some people have been asking about to see the car, so just some views around it. It's holding out well. We haven't had much of a winter, but there has been some corrosive chemicals put on the road nonetheless. But the oil spraying is certainly coating what it has to do over there. It's keeping anything from spreading. You can see it just drips and seeps around the door panels and everything. And under the car, so far so good, it looks like. Oil just creeps everywhere. Just creeps up, creeps around, creeps everywhere. Well, you can start putting some of these pieces on back for the idler assembly. Try to get the camera balanced a little bit. Maybe it might show us something. Really, the helper's not available today, unfortunately. Maybe that'll work. Alright, let's see if we can get something with that. You have to index it because there's a little, there we go, there's a little piece that takes up all the slack, or that's the torsion part for the idler assembly. This piece sticking out over here. You have to make sure that's indexed properly because that's what takes up all the torque on this thing as it moves back and forth. Give it a tighten. All right. Fairly simple repair. It's good to take advantage of it on a nice day. There we go, that's on. And then we'll see how it turns afterwards. There's a piece down there to get a wrench on so that you'll be able to swing it around. and just put a ratchet onto that part. That's how you move the piece so you can get your belt back on. Now we can put the other wheel back on, the idler. Again, it has to be idled on like a boss, where the bearing sits. There we go, being a little bit stubborn today. I guess it's not awake like myself too. Peek underneath the hood, around some stuff, tighten the bolt, tighten the bolt, tighten the bolt. The oil coating really helps the cause of the car. Put it down all those hard to reach places. Help to preserve the lines and things, because the lines on some of these cars are known for rusting out mysteriously in just little spots. So by putting these oil coatings and treatments on, it helps. I'll scoot down for a quick peek underneath in the front. Everything is in pretty much decent condition on the car still. Condenser's starting to look a little bit beaten, but most of it's still pretty decent. There's an auxiliary oil cooler on the car as well to help with the transmission. So far so good with that. It's hard to check the fluid in these things because there's no dipstick on them. But when it was checked not too long ago, it was nice and bright red. And it's shifting just fine still, thank you. And just a saga of an old car. Just getting some projects done on a Saturday morning while you got a few minutes before the demands of everything else start getting up to you. Have yourselves a wonderful day, everybody.